Hello everyone, this is Fantasy-esque and welcome back to Vampyre Clan in ClanGen, the Warrior Cats clan generator game. When we left off in the previous episode, Blue Jay recovered from her sickness, so she no longer has that very concerning cough, which was hacking away at her lungs, and thankfully she is back in good spirits. Now, I think we also were hoping that Owlpaw was going to be able to overcome the, I think, frostbite and shivering that she had as well. And guys, she is doing well. I don't know what it is about Blue Jay's children. Her daughters are the only ones who have been getting into all these incidents during patrols, like they've been getting sick from things they come across, like diarrhea with Firepaw and then the frostbite and shivering with Owlpaw. But they have something in them, this resilience, that I think comes a lot from Blue Jay, that they are able to just bounce back and recover. Honestly, at a pace I have not seen any other cat recover at, so I'm actually excited to dive in and see what our cats get up to this time around. So it is Moon 26, we are still in New Leaf. Let's check up on the leader's den. Wait, what? Guys, back up a bit, hold on a second. I am familiar with the hostility from Wind Clan. I'm also familiar with the temporary neutrality with Gossamer Clan that has actually been kind of sticking with us a bit longer than temporarily. But I am completely stumped at the ally status we now suddenly have with Day Clan. Since when? Since when have the vampires become allies with one of the hunting clans? This is news, guys. This is news. Oh my goodness. You know what, though? I think in one of the previous episodes, Vonel was actually pointing out that, with Shivering Star being so troublesome and focusing on sabotage, even though it is, not good for the clan, it does make a lot of sense for the way our story started with the Vampyre Clan. Because, keeping our origin story in mind, seeing the first generation of vampires basically constantly embroiled in war with the vampire hunters, that makes a whole lot of sense, right? That is the way their relationship would start, given the history. But also that this first season of wars that we are seeing under Shivering Star is going to become the new history. And even in the future, if vampires and vampire hunters under a different vampiric leader become allies, they will still have this shared hatred of their past. This shared history of the hatred for each other. So that, I think, is very, very fascinating. And I feel like it's very timely, that comment and discussion, given the fact that apparently we have managed to become allies with Day Clan. I don't know for how long, but for whatever reason, I suppose Shivering Star, and we were talking about how maybe some of his choices has been weighing on Shivering Star's mind. I guess he has maybe gone ahead and made some concessions to Day Clan in that he will provide them with with vampiric blood and with some of the bones of their deceased, so that Day Clan warriors or hunters can make their special elixirs and potions to give them temporary, senses and strength of the vampires, like the heightened senses of the vampires. And in exchange, they will kind of look the other way when our vampires in the area are doing things. How fascinating. Okay, now we can jump to the events. So the dust has finally settled of the war between Day Clan and Vampyre Clan. Or we should say the dust has finally settled on the war between Day Clan and Vampyre Clan. So, yeah, the war is over, we are at peace, and I suppose part of that peace was the promise for us to give them a little bit of these resources. And then, guys, Grandmaster Shivering Star was seen chasing a kitty pet off of the territory. The clan has encountered Crunchy. Crunchy, what a cute name. But we have, I suppose, come across another member of Initiate Clan. So I think with Crunchy, maybe this kitty pet unknowingly stumbled into, vampiric territory, and Shivering Star chased Crunchy away and Crunchy maybe noticed that there was something different about Shivering Star, so he was kind of lingering around, and then he probably came into contact with some of the initiates, who then told Crunchy about the story and the history of these vampires and why the initiates like choose to stay around the ruins. And I think Crunchy is fascinated enough that he, or is it a she? I don't remember. Crunchy has gotten fascinated enough that they are now wanting to also become part of Initiate Clan, or maybe they're not entirely part of Initiate Clan. Maybe they come by some moons to hang out with the Initiates, get a bit of an inkling as to what the vampires are up to, and then, maybe Crunchy goes back to their home with the two legs, and, they're probably living a bit of a in-between life until such point that they are maybe invited into the clan. I don't know. But let's take a look at Crunchy. So this is Crunchy. It's a he. Okay. So a male adult with silver eyes and a goody pelt. Ambitious, a good den builder, and a good climber. Okay, look at that. So yeah, he's very interesting. As a kitty pet, I imagine he, currently resides outside the clans, but he's intrigued enough by the initiates that he makes frequent visits to them, probably sneaks into our territory and has to be chased off every time. But a new initiate, who is almost like a half initiate. So that's very interesting, but our numbers have increased, which is good to know. Now we have like 5 initiates in Initiate Clan, which is good for us, and we've got a mix, I think, of genders. We have, I think, 3 males and 2 females, with Smoke Feather and Spooky Paw, so that is really good. And a nice variation of genes as well for the future. And then Alpor is no longer shivering. Alpor has recovered from her frostbite. So this was the excitement I had in the beginning of Alpor and her resilience, just like her sister, recovering, which was amazing. And I'm pretty sure in the last episode as well, despite being sick, I think she was sick for a moon. She sat out of training for a moon, so I wonder how that's affected her. Or she sat out of patrols. But even then, she managed to rank like at the top in the last moon. So that was actually very, very cool to see. Made me admire her and see her in a bit of a different light, despite her insecurity. But I love that, and I kind of attribute that to Blue Jay and the way Blue Jay has always kind of bounced back from like birthing her litter, from the sicknesses she's had. So that's kind of cool. That's really, really cool. Okay, over to the medicine cat den. Alpo was given Tansy as treatment for shivering, and then she recovered from it. Alpo was given moss as treatment for frostbite, and then she recovered from that. And Hazelpelt gathered horsetail this moon. Now let's go through the relationships. Also, I think it was Vonel who was talking about Twilight Fade in one of the previous episodes, saying how Twilight Fade seems like this really amazing, kind of grumpy old professor who is a little bit snappy, but he's just so good at what he does that the cats really love, like everyone just loves him, on the merit of, him being just a really, really good teacher. And deep inside, he's actually a softie, he pretends like he doesn't like the attention and the affection, but he does. He loves his clanmates very much, and at this point, it's almost as though he's putting up a facade of keeping a distance from everyone, but he doesn't realize that everybody already knows that he loves them all. So I thought that was very, very cute, and it kind of made me think that it's so fascinating the unique personalities we come across because of the pace at which we play and the way in which we play. We don't really end up with a whole lot of stereotypical personalities or shallow cookie-cutter personalities for our cats. Sometimes they start off one way, and as we go through the moons, their relationships, the little things they do, how they interact with each other, the patrols, we kind of learn more about them, and they develop in sometimes unexpected ways, and I absolutely love that. And every cat's relationship, every cat, even if it starts off with the same like stems, they end up blooming into something entirely different, and I love that. I love that so much. But Twilight Fade to me, he's grumpy, but he seems like such a fuzzy, cuddly cat. Like, he's the type of cat that's gonna probably growl at you, but like, I just want to grab and snuggle. So I absolutely thought that was amazing, and I wanted to kind of point that out just as we go into relationships here. Okay, let's have a look. Something good happens to Blue Jay, and most clanmates congratulate her, but Dusty Cave doesn't say anything at all. Master Burnleaf thinks that Sunnypaw is more talented than him. Are you being jealous of your son, Burnleaf? Master Burnleaf and Lightsong were supposed to be working together today, but they can never agree long enough to accomplish anything. Speaking of Lightsong, Vanell also pointed out that Lightsong and Quiet Flight, if you think about it, their resentment stems from jealousy, right? But they both have a really good relationship with their mentor Twilight Fade. Maybe their resentment of each other kind of started because they were possibly jealous of one another over sharing such an amazing mentor in Twilight Fade. And that, innocent rivalry kind of bloomed into something a bit more possessive and something a bit more. And then obviously recently we've seen that it has again morphed into them noticing each other in a way, or at least for Quiet Flight, noticing Lightsong in a way she hasn't before. Okay, did I read this out? I think I did, but I'll do it anyways. Burnleaf and Lightsong were supposed to be working together today, but they can never agree long enough to accomplish anything. Twilight Fade notices Master Burnleaf doing something generous. Twilight Fade notices one of his friends talking to Dusty Cave. Grandmaster Shivering Star asks Sunnypaw how he's doing, so Mentor and Fledgelings spending time together. Grandmaster Shivering Star asks Firepaw how she's doing. Look at him, he's being very attentive to all of the apprentices, the Fledgelings. Lightsong caught Quiet Flight complaining about her behind her back. Okay, I'm guessing Lightsong, her resentment is still very, very much in the resentful, lane and strand. Quiet Flight backs up one of Sunnypaw's claims during one of Sunnypaw's arguments. Owlpaw thanked Hazelpelt for bringing her food. Probably when she was recovering, he was being very, very nice to her as the Night Stalker and attentive. Hazelpelt and Firepaw reach for the same piece of prey and bicker over it. Hazelpelt gets it. Lightsong says something very sincere and comforting to Dusty Cave. You know what? I really like what is this? Like friendship between Lightsong and Dusty Cave? But I don't think Lightsong has ever made a move on Dusty Cave in that way. I'll check relationships again after this, but it's mainly Dusty Cave who has developed, an admiration for Lightsong, and then whenever Lightsong is friendly with her and spends time with her, then Dusty Cave just thinks about it the whole day and can't believe that Lightsong is giving her attention. So I think it's a one-sided dynamic, but it makes me happy that Lightsong at least gets along well with Dusty Cave. Dusty Cave, Quiet Flight, and Blue Jay had a nice talk while eating. Owlpaw tries to do something like Grandmaster Shivering Star, but just ends up getting embarrassed. Sunnypaw feels extremely unsettled when Grandmaster Shivering Star looks at him. You know what? I've been noticing more and more that Sunnypaw is actually very, very nervous around his mentor and doesn't feel too good around his mentor, which is not a good sign. When really, I was hoping that the excitement he felt initially and the sense of pride would help him come out of his shell a little bit. But it seems as though the more he spends time with Shivering Star, instead of breaking him out of that personality, Shivering Star is kind of cornering him in it. Probably unintentionally, but I think there's probably a lot of pressure that comes with being Shivering Star's fledgling. And also not performing that well, but then not being able to ask for extra help or a change of pace because how the heck are you going to tell the Grandmaster that, how the hell are you going to tell the Grandmaster that it's not working? Grandmaster Shivering Star has to help Firepaw stop choking on a huge bone. Whereas someone like Firepaw, for example, who has a bit more of a confident personality, I imagine, would definitely tell her mentor if something wasn't right. She wouldn't hold back, but her brother's not like that. Okay, so that is all we have for events. Let me cut the recording here and we'll continue with the cat list. Okay, let's go through the cat list. First up, we have loyalties, where nothing has changed at all. In terms of relationships, I didn't notice anything that stood out to me too much either, so we are going straight to the Whisper Twilight Fade. So we can have a whispering session between Hazelpelt and Quiet Flight. So let's grab these two and see how they go. look at that. Platonic like, romance, comfort has increased. Jealousy and dislike has decreased. Now they are literally at max romance, which is so good to see between the two of them. So, they're in happy land. They're in happy land with each other and so secure in their relationship. And with the grumpy on the outside, but actually a huge softie on the inside personality that we've worked out for Twilight Fade, I kind of love the idea that whenever he has these whispering sessions between his, first fledgling, his former fledgling Quiet Flight, and Hazel Pelt, he is kind of gruff in guiding them, but he gets so happy and he feels so warm on the inside seeing Quiet Flight thriving so much and being loved so much. Because in a sense, he did mentor her, but during those adolescent years, he raised her as well. So seeing her doing so well with Hazel Pelt, and seeing her with a mate that treats her the way she deserves, and a mate that is deserving of her, I think it makes him feel very, very good and accomplished as a mentor. So, Twilight Fade, you make me so happy. Okay, let's go ahead and see what everyone's doing for the day. Grandmaster Shivering Star ate his fill and then some from the fresh kill pile. Master Burnleaf is exhausted after a patrol. Hazel Pelt wants to climb the tallest tree in the territory, maybe to gather some leaves. Twilight Fade is soaking in the new leaf warmth. Blue Jay saw a kitty cat sitting calmly next to a dog. Quiet Flight is eavesdropping on Sunny Paw. Lightsong plans to go on a stroll with some cat today. Which cat, Lightsong? I wonder which cat. She wants to go on a stroll in. Probably from the clan, one of the vampires. Okay. Dusty Cave is fetching Twilight Fade for another cat who is looking for him. Let's see. Alpaw tries to do too much at once and defeatedly asks Firepaw for help. Oh, I love that. Because Firepaw obviously was able to go out on patrol, and the sisters have been doing much better than their brother. And because Alpaw wasn't able to go out on patrol, maybe she feels like she is lagging, and she wants to ask her younger sister, for help catching up. I love their diligence. Sunnypaw is looking forward to finding more prey as the snow melts, and Firepaw is giving some advice to Lightsong. Oh, that's hilarious. I kind of love the idea that Lightsong is maybe going on a walk with her apprentice, Firepaw. And, oh my goodness, Firepaw has become daring, guys. She was confident, and she's become daring under the tutelage of Lightsong. I think that's actually really good. That means Lightsong has enabled her so much that Firepaw has had a growth in her personality. That is so cool. And she's daring enough that she is going to, she's going to teach her own mentor. I love that. I love the sass in this. Oh my goodness. But this whole thing is not only a learning experience for Firepaw, but for Lightsong as well, because this is Lightsong's first ever apprentice. And I mean, it's Burnleaf's first ever apprentice too, if you think about it. His daughter Alpaw, he's never taught anyone else. And neither has Shivering Star. Actually, no. Shivering Star has taught his daughter Dusty Cave, so he does have more experience. But with Burnleaf, I feel like Burnleaf is being a little bit too critical of Lightsong, because both of them, yes, in general, in life, he's more experienced than her, but in terms of mentorship, both of them have never had an apprentice before. So, he should cut us some slack. Okay, now let's go ahead and check the rankings for our youngsters. And, oh, look at that. Alpaw, once more, is right at the top. Even though she was sick and she wasn't able to go out on patrol, I guess catching up with her sister really helped. But she has 29 experience. Sunnypaw has 28. Wow, Sunnypaw has really caught up in secret, I feel. And Firepaw is at 24, so she is lagging behind a little bit now. Her brother has actually surpassed her. Maybe she's getting a little bit too cocky and too confident in her abilities. My goodness. But I'm actually really proud of Sunnypaw that he has managed to hold himself up there despite being terrified of Shivering Star. But okay, that's all we have for the cat list. Let me cut the recording here and we'll continue with patrols. Time for us to resume with our patrols. We currently have 35 prey, and we need 26.5, so we don't have to worry about food just yet. We'll send out our Nightstalker Hazelpelt first off to see what he gets up to. Hazelpelt heads out on a herb gathering patrol, searching for the evergreen, ever-reliable horsetail to harvest for the herb stores. Proceed. As a plant that grows without losing any of its green and leaf bare, while also having a crucial herbal use in stopping blood loss, horsetail is a welcome sight in any well-stocked medicine cat den. Hazelpelt is delighted to notice moss growing nearby, and stops to gather a hefty bundle. The clan can never have too much moss. Horsetail and moss were gathered, excellent, and we are going to have a patrol of 6 and a patrol of 3. So let's see how the fledglings are going to be distributed this time around. Okay, all the fledglings are being sent together. So Burnleaf has decided, actually, it seems as though both Burnleaf and Lightsong have decided that they are going to be leaving their apprentices under the supervision of Grandmaster Shivering Star, alongside his own apprentice Sunnypaw. So, okay, we'll see how that goes. And then we have Blue Jay and Quiet Flight on this patrol. Interesting. So let's send these guys out and see what they come across. On their way to mark the far corners of their mountain, Alpor starts telling a story of their ancestors to keep every cat entertained. Proceed. It's a fantastic idea, making the patrol fly by as cats chat and laugh with their clanmates, and everyone ends the day feeling much closer to each other. Look at that. Look at that. So Alpor stood out a little bit over there. I mean, she's been doing so well already, but I suppose once more she has gotten a chance to shine, over her siblings by taking some initiative and telling the story, despite the fact that she's insecure. She was brave enough to take that step, which I kind of love. I have to say, though, you know how Sunnypaw was so invisible in his litter in terms of the affection he was getting from his parents as the middle child, but then he had like a moment of being chosen by the Grand Master. Have you guys noticed that in the patrols, he is still very invisible in the patrols? I don't think he has like stood out in anything even once. We've been seeing a lot of Owlpaw and Firepaw and Owlpaw and Firepaw, but nothing with Sunnypaw. I just, realized that. And then we have our patrol with Dusty Cave, Lightsong, and Burnleaf. And no doubt, this is definitely an interesting patrol, because we know that Burnleaf hates Lightsong. He does not like Lightsong. And we also know that Dusty Cave has a crush on Lightsong and gets along with her, so I wonder how this patrol is going to go. The patrol devolves into ghost stories, putting everyone on edge. Proceed. A branch snaps and the whole patrol runs back to camp. Later, an argument breaks out over what caused the noise. Okay, so they did not have a very productive time, but I can totally see Burnleaf getting into an argument with Lightsong, over the noise and who's being a scaredy cat and who's not, and whether it was real or it was completely made up and they were cooking stories up in their own heads. And I can totally see Dusty Cave trying to mediate between the two of them. Oh my goodness. Okay, well that is all we managed to get done today. I think it was a pretty good day. Definitely a day of some curiosities, especially with the new initiate that we have that is not so much an initiate as a half initiate, but also the recoveries that we saw and the little bit of rankings between the apprentices and see how they go. It was very fascinating. But okay guys, with that said and done, I am going to leave off here. Thank you so much for watching. It is very, very nice to see all my cats. Actually, I'm realizing back in good health, everyone. But I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.